The movie I've chosen for this week's review is Zero Effect, starring Bill Pullman, Ben Stiller, and Ryan O'Neal.
Pardon me if you can. Movie reviews.
The world's greatest detective, Daryl Zero, played by Bill Pullman, and his partner Steve Arlo, played by Ben Stiller, investigate a complex case of blackmail. Hired by the shady tycoon Gregory Stark, Ryan O'Neal, the two find themselves unlocking a dark past of revenge and murder. When Zero meets Gloria, played by Kim Dickens, he finds himself facing one of the toughest cases of all. Now, the film starts out as a quirky comedy on the private eye genre, where Bill Pullman plays Daryl Zero, the world's greatest private eye. The only case we see Zero engage in is a case that gets to him personally. He falls for the girl, losing his objectivity and at the same time his eccentricities, and starts becoming something else. The film becomes a much slower, methodical story of both identity and revelation. We seem to sink into a deep pit of confusion and moral dilemma as Zero falls for Gloria, played by Kim Dickens, and the film's pace slows to a crawl. Kim Dickens plays a fantastic role in this movie as the intelligent and determined femme fatale with a dark past, and it's great seeing Ryan O'Neal in this as well as the shady, wealthy businessman. The relationship between Daryl Zero and Steve Arlo is at the heart of this film. Steve Arlo, played by Ben Stiller, recognizes that Zero is the world's greatest detective, and his heart is in the right place. Like, at the heart of it all, despite all his eccentricities, he's actually doing the right thing. Unfortunately, Zero's constant demand puts a massive strain on Steve's relationship with his girlfriend, and the working relationship between himself and Zero is possibly headed for the end. At their working best, the pair rivaled the working relationship of Sherlock Holmes and Watson. Now, I found Zero Effect to be an extremely intelligent film with a great cast. Unfortunately, the second half of the film, the tone just shifts and it becomes much more bleaker and darker. I actually would have preferred for the film to be an all-out comedy on the private eye genre, because you got the world's greatest detective doing, and when he does actual private eye things, it's actually fantastic to watch and really funny. When we actually see Zero as a private eye investigating, it's really fun and awesome. The last 40% of the movie, we barely see any of Zero's private eye investigative abilities, and almost all the relationships in this movie fizzles, and the tone of the film becomes much more bleak and downbeat. Jake Kasdan, the writer and director, said on the audio commentary of the DVD that this is as much a love story as it is a mystery. He also says on the audio commentary of the DVD that if you say a specific line to him in public, he will donate $5 to your favorite charity. Now, the line is broken throughout the whole audio commentary to ensure that people actually listen to the audio commentary track. And the specific line that you have to quote to him is, "That spooky rumbling is a distant timpani." Jake Kasdan tried making Zero Effect into a TV series. It got as far as a pilot, but was not picked up by any major network. It was made into a single pilot episode starring Alan Cumming as Zero and David Julian Hurst as Jeff Winslow, interestingly not named Steve Arlo like in the movie. The pilot was not picked up by a major network, and I honestly thought the pilot wasn't bad. It was really hard to get used to Zero as a Celtic actor, and Alan Cumming, while he's super talented, was no Bill Pullman. I felt Bill Pullman really owned the role of Zero. Now, in this modern age of streaming services such as Netflix and Amazon Prime, I think a series like Zero Effect can do really well, because it's really fun watching the world's greatest detective do his thing, and that duo between that eccentric detective and his lawyer sidekick is actually really fun and interesting to watch. Now, if you haven't checked out Zero Effect, it's really, really fun. It's a hidden gem from the 90s, and I highly recommend you check it out.
Thanks for watching. If you like what you see, please hit the subscribe button. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Check out our podcast at www.podmeifyoucan.com.